Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I hope that the lighting is okay. How's everyone doing? Okay. So, you have tuned in this evening to Transcending Horizons broadcast, which is sponsored by Transcending Horizons Enterprises. I am Dr. Tylisha Johnson, CEO, and I forgot that I needed these in. CEO and Chief Strategist of Transcending Horizons Enterprises. So, we have another phenomenal show for Transcending Horizons broadcast. I am always so super excited about the guests that we have on. You are going to be simply amazed at the content, at what is going to be shared. We have the 5P success formula, and so we are ready with Dr. Eunice. And so I thank all of you for tuning in this evening or whenever it is that you are watching. So I just want to say greetings to you. You know that at Transcending Horizons Enterprises that we develop and deliver customized winning strategies to help you optimize your potential and soar beyond the limits in both business and life. So, guess what? In keeping with our vision and our mission of Transcending Horizons Enterprises, we want to do the same thing on our broadcast show. So, we invite phenomenal guests on to share with you strategies that they have learned, that they have gained throughout their life, that's going to help you to optimize your potential and help you overcome whatever limitations that you may have or be presented with. And so we always want to make sure that we bring on these phenomenal guests that have stories, that have experience, that have education, testimonies, that they are able to help you so that you don't have to struggle. We need each other. And so that's what this platform is all about, to give you the opportunity to soar beyond the limits in both business and life. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Whether you are here on our Facebook Live, or maybe you are tuning in at another time, whether it be through the YouTube platform or even years from now, whether you are listening to maybe a podcast, you are able, this information that we give is you can apply it to your life. And so that's what it's all about, having something that is tangible to be applied to your life. So I have my guest is on, and so we are so excited tonight to share with you. Thank you so very much for joining us and tuning in. And so it says adding, and so she should be coming on in just a couple of minutes. Thank you so very much. Please share out, no matter what you are viewing on or tuning in on. Greetings, everyone. Thank you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please share out with your audience on your platforms. We would greatly appreciate it. So it's just taking a moment. And so we have to be patient with technology, but we know that it is working. And so I hope that everyone had a great week and you are prepared to have a phenomenal weekend. And so we want to help you. We know that that in life, in business, that there are things that we face, and we don't have to go about finding out information on our own. But listen, this is the whole information highway with technology. We can find out anything that we need to be able to find out. We need to tap into resources. Our resources, our greatest resources, yes, absolutely. Likewise, our human resources, our relationship currency. We need to be able to tap into that relationship currency.
Hey,
Hello, Dr. Eunice. How are
hello,
you?
John. I'm fine, thank you. It took a while there to get connected.
Yes, that is okay. Thank you so much for joining me. I am so super excited to have you
Oh,
on our broadcast show. I
you're welcome.
listen, people don't know we actually do have history together.
I know,
And
right?
so we want to start by thanking S. Renee Smith Larry, who made this phenomenal connection. It was actually a reconnection for us. And so you
Absolutely.
never know when you will meet someone again. And so it's been years and years. We don't know how many years. I don't think we quite figured that
I
out,
know.
but it's
Mm-mm.
been quite a few years. And so we want to thank her, and we congratulate, as Renee Smith Larry, who want to connect with her, we congratulate her on all of her successes. And she is absolutely phenomenal in branding. And so we want to say that I think that that is appropriate to do that, Dr. Eunice.
Absolutely.
And so I would like for you, without further ado, to just briefly tell our audience just a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
And then we will get right into your 5P success formula. We are so super excited to hear about that. And
Okay.
then we will find out more about how we can reach you and how we can find out about your different products and services. So let's get right into this interview today.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson, for having me on your platform, giving me the opportunity to be here with you this evening. And I actually do honor the idea that you thanked S. Renee Smith Larry, because she is a phenomenal woman. And she's the reason why we're here today. We had lost contact, but thankfully to her for reconnecting us.
Yes,
And thank you for letting me be on your platform as well.
absolutely.
So, a little bit about myself. I call myself a diversity strategist, and I am a certified life and success coach, an educator, a speaker, and an author. And, you know, when you think about your journey, and as I call these things, sometimes I stop and say to myself, is that me? Is that the little girl from the cornfields of Africa in Cameroon now calling these big titles? So I just say that to say, do not give up. Success will come as long as you keep working at it. So that's who I am in a nutshell.
Oh, that is so wonderful. Thank you so much. And I really, really appreciate you sharing the fact that, it doesn't matter where you start, right? It doesn't matter,
Absolutely.
having your life and having just the very breath gives you opportunity to
Oh,
have
absolutely.
success. And so thank you so very much for that encouragement to myself and also to our viewers. So let's get right into your 5P success
Okay.
formula here.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. Well, I guess the question your audience should be asking is, how did I come up and why did I come up with the 5P success formula? Life happens, doesn't it?
Mm.
We all get this thing about life. we have big dreams, we have plans, but those plans do not come when we expect them to come, right? So, like I said earlier, I'm the first of 6 children, originally from Cameroon in West Africa. And growing up, I always wanted to be a teacher like my father. So when I finished high school, I decided to enroll in the French-speaking University of Yaoundé in Cameroon. But what I didn't realize is that I had not really lived what I knew since the age of 12. And that was trying to change, get that shift in paradigm so I could become successful in the French-speaking university because Cameroon speaks English and French. So while I was in the school trying to attain this degree to become a teacher like my father, I failed. I flunked out of college at the age of 21.
Wow.
Why? Because I refused to learn a new language, thinking that that language was someone else's responsibility. I said, why me? Why not them? So you can only imagine how devastated I was, failing out of college, a teacher's child. And in my culture, a teacher's child is not expected to fail in anything. So I had embarrassed my parents. Here they are waiting for me to complete school and help them in raising the rest of my siblings. But I did not. So you can only imagine the turmoil, the anger, the devastation that I went through. But I'm sure those of you watching have been given a second chance in life. My parents gave me a second chance in life by selling a portion of their property and sending me to a dental therapy school in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, Canada. While in Canada, I still failed at something very significant: cultural awareness and allowing the Canadians to embrace me and me embracing their culture. I successfully completed the program without any problems. Earned a job, was traveling, and I loved it. But one thing was missing: lack of that cultural awareness and embracing the differences. And I thought I was looking for people that looked like me. So I ended up resorting to, unsatisfaction, and I ended up being disheartened and left Canada. And DC area was going to be my next stop. But while in the DC area, I realized that I was not looking for those that looked like me. I was looking for a place to call home.
Wow.
And I will make that home in Delaware. But soon after that transformation in Delaware, I would meet someone outside of Walmart, just casually socializing and talking to them and telling them what my plans were, going to a local hospital to apply for a job as a nursing assistant. And she said to me, "Don't go there." And I said, "Why?" She said, "Because you're a Black woman, you're an immigrant, and you have a heavy accent, and no one will give you a job in that facility." And my father's words flashed at me so suddenly, because he always told us, if you want change in life, that change must begin with you.
Yes.
So at that point, I decided that maybe these were just her perceptions and her notion. So I went back home and got help with fixing up my resume, because I wanted the resume to be so good that they had no excuse in telling me I couldn't get the job. Because I could not believe that my race or my color or being an immigrant were determinants to a job opportunity. So I fixed it up and went back and applied. And I did wait for a long time. But here am I thinking, wow, she could have been right. And suddenly I got an invitation to come for an interview. I went to that interview. No problems whatsoever.
Wow.
Did not see any signs of racism, discrimination based on who I was. And this facility will give me the job. And I ended up staying with them for 15 years.
Wow.
They paid for my first degree and my 2 master's degrees. So why am I sharing this? I share this to say that we all have our experiences. And people have preconceived notions about so many things in life.
Yes.
And if you go about taking what others are telling you to do without thinking for your own self, using that information to make informed decisions, you can easily go wrong, because I could have gone wrong.
Absolutely.
But I decided that I was not going to take that for an answer, and I went to see for myself. And I'm glad I did. So many of you watching this evening, do not settle for less.
Yes.
Stand for something. Because if you don't stand for something, you're going to stand for anything.
Absolutely.
So
before you move on, Dr. Eunice, I love that that point that you made from that story. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think that
You're
really
welcome.
the crux of what we can really take from that is, you know, not looking at what other people are thinking or saying, right? And then
Yes,
also making sure that we pursue regardless, take that second chance. You know, you were given that second chance and you actually went forth with that second chance. I
exactly.
mean, over and over again, many times we may you know, you classified it as failure, but it, you know, that failure was a learning experience. It helped to shift
Absolutely.
you. It helped to change your perspective on things. It helped
Yes.
to really propel you into being determined. And sometimes we
Yes.
have to have these different experiences that is going to shift our mindset. And so,
Yes.
you
Absolutely.
know, I really like to be able to discuss with people. You know, we classify things as failure, and failure is such a negative word, and it could be
Hmm.
something that, you know, we did not achieve, but we took lessons from that. And
Absolutely.
when we have these challenges, I mean, yes, you know, you didn't pass, so you know you can say that yes, it was
Hmm.
failure out of the school, but you
Hmm.
grew from that, right? So it's
Yes.
really what we take from that. And sometimes people let these quote unquote failures actually stop
Hmm.
them. But I like the
Hmm.
fact that you kept going. You kept pursuing what it was,
Hmm.
and you
Hmm.
took advantage of that next opportunity. So we can't look
Hmm.
at our failures as something that will limit us or prevent us from
Oh,
ever
yeah.
having success in the future, but we look at it as lessons. And so thank you so much
Hmm.
for sharing that. Those are my takeaways from your story.
You're welcome.
And
And you know, to add to that, I think sometimes I've come to learn about marrying the process.
mm-hmm.
Instead of worrying about the outcome, marry the process and the outcome will come.
Yes.
Because if you're so ready to achieve your dreams, the
Mm-hmm.
question you should ask yourself, are you ready to go to work?
Yes.
When you go to work, the results will come. It's about marry the process and keep going.
I love it. Marry the process. Yes, absolutely. So share with us your first P for the success formula.
Awesome. So the first P is purpose. We talk about purpose every now and then, and I came up with all of these 5 P's because when I started writing my book, I had to do a little bit of reflection. And as I reflected, I realized that there were these 5 P's that I had used or relied on subconsciously to get to where I was going, despite the roadblocks I met along the way. So the first P is purpose. What is purpose? That desire, that determination to become successful, regardless of your trials and tribulations, regardless of what we call challenges. I don't particularly care for the word challenge
Mm-hmm.
because, like you said, failure is just a GPS to your success.
Yes, absolutely.
So, what is it that you want to be? Who do you want to be tomorrow? What is that future individual you want to be?
Mm-hmm.
What is it going to take for you to get to that destination? So your purpose will help to propel you to that destination. That is what is going to help you stay focused. That is what is going to help you to stop you from quitting. Because if you quit, you're accepting that failure as the norm. But
Yes.
people who become successful never stop following their dream. They just change the strategy. So
Mm-hmm.
if you know your purpose, then you could flip that strategy. You can reset those goals in order to help you continue to walk toward that destination that you seem to be having trouble getting to. So how do you really hone in on that purpose? And I'm going to read directly from a book that I just co-authored
Mm-hmm.
called Little Girls' Dreams, Metamorphosis to Women Realities, a collaboration of inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
And the purpose, how do you discover your purpose or your why in life? And in this book, I talk about getting into the habit of reading. That gives you the chance to connect with people that you do not know and may never know, but you, across their time and space.
Mm-hmm.
Because reading someone else's story will inspire you,
Yes.
will help you reconnect to another area of your perspective. or of life that you haven't explored.
Mm-hmm.
Use your hurt to heal and inspire others.
Mm.
Develop an attitude of gratitude to make a positive impact in the world. Listen to what people admire or appreciate about you. Connect and collaborate with positive people and communities, and share your story to inspire and empower others. What has been your roadblocks? How did you get through those? What were some strengths and weaknesses? And what lessons did you learn from that? Because truly, what happened yesterday is long gone.
Yes.
It is that process, but what lessons did you take away from that failure, if you may call it that, or those trials and tribulations, or those roadblocks?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you took away from it? How did you deal with it? Share the story.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is waiting somewhere for you to inspire them. Someone is
Yes.
somewhere thinking, oh, I'm by myself. No, you're not.
Mm-hmm.
We all go through different things in life. So someone needs that story.
Yes.
Like Les Brown always say, you find the richest and smartest people where? At the graveyard.
Yes.
Do not be that individual. Do
Absolutely.
not go to your resting place with the knowledge you have, with the stories you have to share. So finding your purpose will hold you on, will
Yes.
help you stay refocused. So that's my first P.
Thank you so very much. And I love that because when we let purpose drive us, that's the reason why we were created. Our creator, God, He created us with the purpose in mind. We are the answers to a problem.
Mhm.
The chair that we're sitting in has serves a purpose. It was
Absolutely.
created for the purpose of holding us so we can rest our feet. So what
Mhm.
answer, what problem do you solve? Why are you here? And that's
Mhm.
really the tapping into that purpose. And
Mhm.
then being
Mhm.
determined that, you know what, it doesn't matter. I want to complete the reason why I came. I don't want to
Mhm.
just come and not finish the reason why I was born into this earth. And so that is certainly phenomenal, being able to let purpose drive us. Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Awesome. You're welcome. And so the next P is passion.
Hmm.
What keeps you going? What drives you? What is it that makes you to get out of that bed and just love doing it?
Yes.
Sometimes, whether they're watching you or not, you just keep doing it. What do people tell you they like about you? Something that you just do it, even when you're not thinking you're doing it.
Yes.
So you got to maintain that passion, because passion and purpose go hand in hand.
Yes.
If you have a passion, something that you truly love, you will achieve your dreams and your goals.
Hmm.
And that's just simply what it is. Yes, you're going to meet those difficulties, but when you meet those difficulties and think of your purpose, you will regroup. Sometimes it's just as simple as finding that quiet corner in your home, whether you're going to get there and just scream and cry and pray, whatever.
Hmm.
It's your quiet time. But that reflection helps you bring back your passion and your purpose so that you can keep going. But it's all about reconnecting with your own inner self, because there are things that we do subconsciously without even realizing we're doing it. But if you find that there's something you're doing as such, then hone in on it, hold on to it. When you think you're not able to, get it out there, because it's in you. You have that unique skill and that talent. It's just a matter of you bringing it out. But once you identify that, then you can bring it out and be put on that captain hat, because only you can drive yourself to that destination. Nobody's going to control your ship for you. You have to do it. You got to do it. Yes, it's going to be difficult. Sometimes I tell people, when you're so passionate about certain things, people will try to distract you. If you're in a group or a tribe or a community and you're the smartest person, maybe it's time to move.
Yes.
If you're among friends who turn to pull you down, discourage you, will not tell you what you really should be hearing and just what you like to hear, you need to move.
Hmm.
But just hold on to that passion, and
Absolutely.
your passion helps to fuel your purpose.
I love it. I love it. And one thing is I've talked to a lot of different people, and one thing they say, well, I'm passionate about this, but then a year later they're on to something else. What do you have to say about people misidentifying that passion, because they've been on 3 or 4 or 5 different passions since you've known them. What do you have to say to bring clarity? What would be that one point that you would give to help them bring clarity to really know what that passion is?
Well, that's a good question. To get clarity in whatever you're doing, you have to first of all identify that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have the purpose, you're going to easily keep giving up. And they're going from passion to passion because when they meet roadblocks or face some difficulties, then they move on thinking, oh, maybe this thing will bring me what I'm looking for, because you're not truly clear. And also, we're not patient, which is one of the P's. We're so quick to judge ourselves or to think what others are thinking, and we fail to realize nobody's going to do for you what you want for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Only you can go to where you're going. Yes, some people will come along and support you,
Mm-hmm.
but other times when you're so fast and want to get there so quick, life is not a marathon.
Yes.
You got to exercise patience. So instead of jumping from passion to passion, just hone in on that purpose.
Yeah.
Figure out why the first passion did not come to fruition, why it did not work. What can you change? What strategies can you implement or re-implement, or evaluate what you did wrong and see what you took from that problem
Mm-hmm.
and solve where you really are going, instead of keep flipping back and forth. So patience, exercise patience is the one thing I will say.
Awesome, awesome. So thank you so much. And so with pursuing our passion, our purpose, and our passion, being able to pursue that with patience. I think a lot of times, if we don't have, since we live in this microwave society, we lose patience. We want
Yes.
everything to be within a
Now.
minute. Yeah. We want, everything to
Yeah.
be right now. This is taking too long. I mean, books have even gotten thinner because, people just don't want to sit down and read 200 and 300 page books. They want to hurry up and get to the
Hmm.
point, and
Yeah.
a lot of times people are preferring even the audio books. Since we have this fast paced society and people don't want to wait, they don't want to go through the
Hmm.
process. What happens when, besides the fact of giving up, what happens when we don't exercise that patience? What are some of the pitfalls that we can face when we don't exercise patience?
Well, there's several pitfalls when you don't exercise patience, and I'll speak for myself. When you don't exercise patience, you really can very easily make a wrong decision
Mm,
as to where you're heading. Even in your career, even in your personal life, you got to exercise patience. Life is a whole school on itself.
yes.
Relationships, it's a whole school on itself. Whatever we do in life, you get on a job, you got to learn that job, you got to learn the culture of the organization,
Mhm.
you got to learn the people. So everything, you got to have patience. If you don't do it, you might potentially make wrong decisions. And that is why it's so fast paced that we're just running, and then we try to get into everybody else's lane. Stay in your lane. There's so much out there. We can all tap from everything, but identify your niche and stay in your lane. And then that way you're not looking at what A, B, and C are doing, thinking they're becoming successful, and your success is not coming that fast. So slow it down. Your
Yes.
success will come. God has a pre-planned day for you. You don't
Mhm.
have to rush it. Just keep doing what you're doing. Stay in action, and your results will come.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much. That is definitely key. And, being able to keep pace, and I love that. Whatever the momentum is that you have, be able to just continue, and
Yeah.
you will get there. I love it. Absolutely. And so let's hear about your next one. So we're on
So the
4.
four. So four is persistence.
Mm.
What is persistence? You have to set realistic goals in order to continue doing what you're doing if you want to achieve those goals. Being persistent, staying on it, and when A doesn't work, reevaluate that. I have a nursing background. In nursing, we talk about nursing diagnosis, and you always collect your data, analyze the data, set your plan, and then implement. And if it doesn't work, you evaluate, right? It's the same thing in life. We talk about vision boards, goal setting. It's so many out there. But the thing is, do you have those goals written somewhere?
Yes.
You don't have to just think in your head, I have these goals, I have this vision board. Are you putting it to action? So I always tell people, put it where you're going to see it every day in a visual area so you can visualize it. If you come to my home, my vision board is in my bathroom because I see that first thing in the morning and last thing at night. So I can keep myself reminded of where I am going. So, and I'm going to read this excerpt from my book again. I say, in order to become persistent, you must set realistic and measurable goals and keep them within your periphery. Remember your long-term goals or the big picture in mind will help you when you have short-term failures.
Wow.
Your
Wow.
failure is just an accident. You can come out of it.
Yes.
Use what lessons you learn from that and be persistent. Just reevaluate those strategies. Maybe something is not working for whatever reason. Tap into it and continue going.
I love it. I love it. And I love the fact that, with persistence, in order for us to continue being persistent, we have to be determined and we have
Determined.
to be consistent, right? So,
Absolutely.
so with the determination and consistency, we're able to persist and pursue,
Yeah, yeah.
and not to quit. I do know that, with persistence, we have to be able to invite other people in and get their advice because listen,
Yeah,
you get
yeah,
tired. You get
yeah,
tired. How
yeah.
have you used your resources around you to help you to stay persistent in your journey?
I like to talk about mentorship from that aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I have really used mentors, and not necessarily mentors that you see eye to eye. It could just be somebody that's been very successful. I read books a lot. I read how they've become successful, what they do as a routine. But I also have mentors that I meet with them face to face that will tell you what you do not want to hear when you don't want to hear it, to help you regroup because they believe in you.
Yes.
So having a mentor really helps. And it has really helped me in my career of nursing and in where I'm going right now. So I would recommend to our listeners today, if anything, get yourself a mentor. But you have to also get you a mentor that is cultural, can culturally relate to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I strongly believe that if you go get a mentor who has no idea where you come from and how far you have come and uses the one size fit all, it might not be suitable for you.
Absolutely.
So get someone who is culturally sensitive so they can guide you and understand your background. You know, I'll use an example of being a teacher because I see teachers as mentors and facilitators.
Mm-hmm.
If you're teaching and you just want to teach the content that you've been given to teach, but you're not getting halfway with the student who maybe come from a disadvantaged background or maybe come from a traumatic background, what have you. But you're just teaching because you have to push in that material. But that student is not doing well. But in your mind, you're thinking, well, this child comes from such and such a background. They're never ever going to be A, B, C, or D. Who are you to tell a student who they will be?
That's right.
You did not give birth to them. Your role is to help bring out the talent that they have in
Yes.
them, whichever way possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where culturally sensitive teaching strategies or culturally sensitive advising strategies from a mentor perspective
Mm-hmm.
will come handy. So I suggest if you're going to find a mentor, you need to find someone that will relate to you and your socioeconomic background.
Absolutely. I love it. Because, with that, we are able to gauge just how, diverse that we still need to be, right?
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
even though you may get someone that is familiar with your background, it's also good to maybe get some other people that, they may not have come from where you come from, but you need to understand the
Absolutely.
two-way street, right? So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
even
mm-hmm.
being able to be in a group of people that have different backgrounds is going to help equip you in whatever industry that you are
Yes,
in. So, but I like the fact
absolutely.
of, that mentor, even being that person that is going to jack you up by your collar, right?
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
listened to
Absolutely.
Dr. Eric Thomas. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's
Yes.
actually now number one speaker in the world. And
Yeah.
that was somebody that my daughter, she's 25, in graduate school. She was like, "Mom, I can't take all that yelling." I was like, "Listen, he's the reason why I got my doctorate degree. Okay, he's the reason why I kept writing that doctorate degree,
Yep.
is
Yep.
because I would turn him on, because I needed to be yelled at and jacked up by my collar and
That's
say,
right.
'Listen, you don't
That's
want
right.
this. You're not serious.'"
Yeah.
That's what he says. "You have to want it as bad as you want to breathe." I'm like, "Okay, I
Yes.
do."
Yes.
But
Absolutely.
and I think that everybody has their style of what they prefer. I'm just a person. Yeah, you need to go ahead and yell at me, and put, I feel like I'm being jacked up by my collar, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you do have to have someone that's going to challenge you and get you out
Mm-hmm,
of your comfort zone and push you
mm-hmm,
into that next level and say, "Listen, no,
mm-hmm,
you're not giving up." And
mm-hmm.
so I absolutely love that, because sometimes we want people to play patty cake with us,
Oh yeah. No. Mm-mm.
and I've been told by some of my clients, and actually former clients, because they moved on. I had a couple of people tell me, "You're aggressive. You know, you're
Well,
too
that's.
aggressive." But listen, I didn't come to play.
Mm-hmm.
This
Absolutely.
is if you're gonna soar like an eagle, we can't be down here patty cake with
Nope.
like chickens, right?
Nope. Not at
So
all.
so I'm very serious about getting people into their place of success, because their success
Absolutely.
is my success, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we have to make sure that we are serious about pursuing our goals, and so I love that persistency. So tell us
Yeah.
your fifth and final thing.
So the fifth and final P is perseverance.
Mm,
So the choice to wake up every day and keep going
hmm.
and keep doing what you want to do.
Wow.
And like to distinguish between persistence and perseverance. I'm going to read this from an excerpt from the book.
Hmm.
The difference between persistence and perseverance is this: persistence is for them, perseverance is for you. The
Hmm.
journey to unifying cultures and creating oneness among people always comes with challenges that will hurt us to our core. I and many other people in this world are well aware of the emotional drainage that takes place when constantly faced with adversity.
Hmm.
So, despite all of this, you got to stand strong. It's just standing that test of time. Whatever struggle you're going through, you find a means, whether it's the mentoring, whether it's your purpose, you got to do it. You just got to keep going, because others will say, "Oh no, she's going to fail. Oh no, he's going to fail. Oh no, she's this, she's that, she can't do it." This takes me back to when I came into this country as a student, as an immigrant. And I have been on both sides of the fence, as a student, as an educator. And sometimes listening to my colleagues just give up on a student used to bother me so much that I found myself in argument in faculty meetings, because I had to clear a point. Yeah, just because somebody has an accent or is male or looks different doesn't mean they're stupid, or doesn't mean they cannot do what you have done. Your color doesn't give you the audacity to downgrade someone else as a faculty member. Instead, you should be helping that student pull them along, get out of them what they have, the uniqueness in them, and changing your strategy to be suitable for them and beneficial. So, being in that position and having been a student, I remember one of my faculty members graded a paper. This thing was so bloody. And I went into her office, very professionally, respectful. And I told her, said, I disagree with your grading. I speak the Queen's language and I write the Queen's language. And maybe you're grading it from an American English perspective, but let's relook at this paper. And she said, well, how can you come here as a student and tell me that? I said, well, because I have the right. So just give me a chance. Let me explain to you my thought process and why I spell the way I spell. I come from an English educational background. So I learned that way and I do things differently. So work with me and regrade it. How can you go from a 70% paper to a 90 if I had not gone to her? So sometimes it's really being responsible for yourself, having autonomy to stand up for what you really want and find every means to achieve or attain that goal. So had I not gone to her, I would not have passed that course. And that could have meant me failing out of nursing. No, I didn't fly 10,000 miles away to come here and fail.
Right.
So I had a plan and I had a goal and I had to achieve it no matter what way. But people will give up on you. People will discourage you, but know who you are and know that that perseverance is for you. They're expecting you to fail. So find a way to make it work.
Wow. Wow. And I love what you said in your book when you said that persistence is for them, perseverance is for you. And when I think about perseverance, I think about having that endurance and enduring hardship as a good soldier, right? Having an understanding that everything is not going to be peaches and cream. I talk about my own personal life and how I was writing papers in the ICU room of my son, who was in the hospital for 9 months with leukemia. And he did pass away in May 18, 2011. And I think about that. It was only by God's grace I was able to even have the mentality or the mind to continue,
Yeah.
even in the midst of going through everything that we were going through as a family. And but when I think about that, refusing to allow, different. Now, I did have to take off when my son passed, of course.
Of
I
course, yeah.
did have to stop to grieve, so I took about 6 months in between, but I picked it back up. Here's the thing. Um, you might see me pause, right? I can only speak for myself. And I know that I can say this about you too, Dr. Eunice. One thing that you won't see us do is quit.
Oh, yeah.
I
Absolutely.
just said, you might see me pause.
you, yeah.
You might
Yeah.
see, but what you will not see. I mean, I even
No
say that
quitting.
about about losing weight. I've been up and down the scales over the years. 50 pounds, I lose 50 pounds. I lose 30 pounds. I go right back up. I've been up and down. I will not I will not quit. No, I mean
That's not an option.
I've worked out 5 days this week. Everybody should give me a hand, right?
Yay.
Monday through Friday, I got up
Yeah.
every morning and I worked out. I'm so proud of myself.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. I'm not going. It doesn't matter. It does not matter how many times I have to push the restart button. I will be
You,
successful. I'm gonna show y'all.
yep.
Listen, I got to show myself first, but I am going to, I'm going to achieve in this area because I
Yeah.
will be successful if I do not quit. And that's
Yep.
the bottom
Yep.
line. If we
Absolutely.
continue to persevere, if we continue
Absolutely.
to press through, if we continue without saying, you know what, I don't care what comes my way. I will restart every time. If I have to restart every day, I will press the restart button.
Yeah, absolutely. Likewise.
Yes. But it's
Likewise.
something about, that health journey. We always restart on
Yeah.
Mondays. You know, you
Yeah.
never restart on a Saturday or
Oh no, not
it's a
Saturday.
Monday. I don't know why it's a Monday.
Beginning of the week.
Yeah.
Weekends is time to mess around, right?
Right. Oh, I'm going to start again, right, on Monday.
And when I say I'm going to start again, that's when I eat more. I'm like, okay, I can eat
Oh,
this
yeah.
because tomorrow I'll restart. Then
Yeah.
before I know it, I'm back to.
It's the Last
Yeah.
Supper, right? You always have the Last
Yeah.
Supper. You're going to have the Last Supper. This is my last bowl of ice cream, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're
Absolutely.
going to restart. But
Yeah.
we persevere, and
Absolutely.
we do not give up. And
Oh
so
no.
I thank you so much for sharing your 5P success formula. And I know
You're
this
welcome.
works. I mean, it's no
Yeah.
doubt about it. And I'm sure that people have heard bits and pieces from other people. But guess what? I'm
Hmm.
telling you that when you have a message that comes forth clear and concise, I want everyone to get the book. Can you show us your book? Do you have it handy there?
Sure. Actually, I have. This one is one that I just co-authored, and the 5 piece I'll
Could you
give it
hold? You
in
have to
here.
hold it up.
Can you see it?
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
to get this, you could either cash app me directly or go on my website, which
Okay.
is www.euniceGwanmesia.net. And we can put that up if you
Yes, we
would
will put
like
it in the
to just, yeah.
comments. Yes.
Yeah. Or cash app me directly. That it's 17.99 with shipping and handling is probably about $20. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how you can find that. I also have another book on Amazon, Cultural Awareness, a strategy that can influence your journey to success. You could also get it on Amazon or get it directly off of my website. And in that book, I share a lot about some of the 5 Ps and also my journey and how embracing cultural differences can really empower, encourage, and celebrate each other instead of tearing each other apart. I strongly believe that our cultural differences do not divide us. In fact, it's our failure to recognize, engage, empower, and embrace and celebrate those differences that are a problem.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
And I believe that, in the uniting, we make a really strong fabric if we just come
exactly.
together and unite and
Exactly.
embrace our differences.
Yes.
Embrace, I mean, I know that I love learning about different cultures. Well, I
Cultures.
love learning, period. So I'm
Hmm.
just,
Absolutely.
when you're a
Yeah.
teacher, you're always a
You
student
always
and
been.
you love to you love to
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah.
But having learning about people, learning about their cultures, that can only expand your ability to increase your relationship currency. This
Absolutely.
it's real. Building
Yeah. Yeah.
relationships and being able to help more people. I don't care
Hmm.
what it is, what industry you are in. Again, you're here to solve a problem. You're solving a problem that someone has. You are the answer to someone's
Yeah.
problem. And so, if you are going to help more people, there are more people outside of your
Hmm.
ethnicity, outside of your
Hmm.
culture, outside of your
Hmm.
comfort zone that need what you have, that have
Hmm.
that same issue, that you have the
Hmm.
answer. So, you're really limiting your growth, your overall growth. You're
Yeah.
limiting even your impact that you can have in this world by
Hmm.
refusing to become culturally aware and
Hmm. Hmm.
diverse in
Yeah.
your approach and your
Yeah.
ability to connect with others.
Yeah. And it's interesting. You give a real good summary. The thing is, if we look at where the world is heading, if we're going to make a global impact and be one world, we really need to
Yes,
start to unify instead of tearing each other down.
absolutely.
Because you're Mexican, it doesn't mean you're a thief. Because you're
Hmm.
from Africa, it doesn't mean you come from a shithole country.
Hmm.
So these negativities and terrorizing type words should
Hmm.
not be used at this age in time,
That's
not to human beings. So if we really start coming together,
right.
I saw a picture on LinkedIn today. It was a picture of all men and Caucasians sitting around the table in the boardroom, and it was put by someone in Canada because July 27th is Multicultural Day in Canada and it's celebrated across the entire Canada. which I hope that one day that will happen in the United States. And this picture is all of white male sitting on the boardroom. This is not a political statement. However, I started thinking, this is just what happens in the boardroom. It is time we change that conversation, because not only those people can do that job.
Yes.
There are people with different ideologies, with different values and different skills that if they come to the table and not just sit on the menu, we can become stronger. We become more creative. We engage employees better and improve our team performances, even internal and external relationships with our customers, with our employees, with our in educational setting, with the students, or in hospitals, with nurses. When you have somebody and you value them, you make them feel wanted and not just a number, they are going to stay longer in your organization. Your organizational culture is going to change. People will want to come to you. Customers will want to come to you. What is going to happen? Increased productivity. And when that happens, your organization is going to benefit, employees will benefit. So why not hone in on cultural awareness training? Why do you just have it on your strategic plan and put it on the shelves? Why not actually implement activities or plan events that will help people feel engaged, will help people feel as part of the organization and not just a number? That is why my company, Dr. Eunice Consulting, LLC, is now putting up the first annual Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Conference coming up on September 7th, 2019, right here at Dover Downs Hotel and Casino. We've curated some amazing, amazing speakers, panelists, keynote speakers. It's going to be a conference like no other one has ever been in Delaware. So if you're on this call, and with the permission of Dr. Johnson,
Yes.
I'm inviting you all to be at this conference. I don't care if you're not in Delaware, just come. We want you to come.
Yes.
We want you to engage in this conversation. I am just passionate, engaging people in conversations about cultural awareness, because I've been there, I've heard it, I've done it. We need to change the conversation so we can have better workplace environments. Because guess what? Our population demographics is changing. It's not what we used to have. It's no longer a salad bowl.
That's right.
It's no longer a melting pot. It is a salad bowl. It is a salad bowl. So why don't we start creating that fabric that looks like the customers we serve?
Yes.
And making everyone feel welcome and comfortable and celebrate our cultural heritage. We become a better community.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so very much. And so what do you have outside of the ability or for them to come to the conference? Do you have anything that they can take advantage of online? Do you help people with coaching? What are some of your other products and services that you may have?
Thank you so much. I do have one-on-one coaching. I have group coaching, mentoring, tutoring in terms of nursing students, NCLEX preparation. I also assist with that. I do a lot of keynote speaking and speaking at, different corporate organizations and cultural awareness training for different companies if you are in need of that. And then we also do workshops and conferences.
Awesome.
And all of that information is on my website. And also, if you're interested in the upcoming conference, you can go on Eventbrite and look for first annual Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Conference, or you can go directly to my website or the conference website, which is actually www.euniceguamesia.net/DEIC. And that stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Conference. And get your tickets that way. And you get a chance to also read on the bios of the speakers. You will be blown off your mind. This is going to be a fantastic, awesome. You don't want to miss this conference.
Awesome. Well, and
Dr. we also, can I just say this? We actually do have early bird registration fees right now. It's $50 for students and $100 for adults. So until July 15, you can purchase your tickets at $50 or $100, and they're quickly selling out. So you want to grab your ticket now.
Awesome.
Come see your girl. You're welcome.
Come see your girl, Dr. Eunice. Dr. Eunice, I can't believe we've been on here for almost an hour. Can you believe
really?
that?
Yes. It's been that long? Oh,
Yes.
wow.
And you know, my shows are only supposed to be 35 minutes. So
That's
no
awesome.
more than 35 minutes. And so I'm going to have my next guest. They're going to say, "Well, you let Dr. Eunice stay on for
For
almost
one
a
hour.
whole hour. Why do I only get 35 minutes?"
That's what you get when you get your sister,
I'm gonna say,
right?
listen, this is special VIP. You have to have met
VIP.
me at Delaware State University.
That's right. Hornet land.
So since you're not from Delaware, you don't have any connection, then you get the
Yeah,
35
yeah.
minutes.
Awesome.
No, I'm
Thank you so
joking. You
much.
know what? When we
Yeah.
have information that we're just have to do it. We just have
Yeah.
to get the information out here because our purpose is to help people. And
Yes.
they will just have to go and watch it in two parts. If they only have 30
Absolutely.
minutes, they can watch the first 30 minutes and then they can
And
come
they come
back
back.
and watch the rest of it. Okay, so there's a
Yeah.
strategy for you
Exactly.
to watch the entire broadcast without it taking your entire hour or
Entire time.
whatever.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we are just so happy that you have joined us in our hearing, that you are able to give us this phenomenal information
Thank
that
you.
is going to change our lives if we apply it. That's what I want to say. If we
Thank
put
you.
it into action, every
Yes.
time we get information, it is not always going to be something that we can easily apply to our lives.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what?
Mm-hmm.
What you have given us tonight, we can apply it right
Mm-hmm.
away. It is
Mm-hmm.
something that we are able to implement. But any information that we receive, if we don't bother to make the changes that are necessary in our life, to pursue it, then we will not reach our goals. And so
Absolutely.
one thing about a formula is you cannot just do one without the other. So I thank you,
You're
because it
welcome.
is absolutely necessary that you have all 5 P's. It's not like you cannot be persistent or you can
Mm-mm.
just leave out one. No, it is a formula
Absolutely.
that only works when it is all together and when it is
Mm-hmm.
implemented consistently, right?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
In our lives. And so I thank you again. Thank you so much for the information. And we are going to go ahead and put the information, her contact information, the information for the event that she is
Conference.
having. We will put that in the comments. We will make sure that you have that information. Again, please share this out with your followers on your platform. Again, I thank you so very much,
You're
beautiful.
welcome.
I
You're welcome.
absolutely enjoyed this, and hopefully we will be able to get together again
Absolutely.
at another time. So thank you. And I want to thank our listeners and our viewers for tuning in to Transcending Horizons broadcast, where you know what we say, every day is a great day to transcend
Mm-hmm.
horizons and soar beyond the limits in both business and life. You can
Awesome.
reach me at www.transcendinghorizonsent.com. Again, www.transcendinghorizonsent.com. Come soar with us. Thank you. God bless. Good night.
Thank you so much. Good night, dear.